Three, two, one. Go ahead, Stan.
And welcome into Pressbox Live. This is Stan the Fan Charles of Pressbox and PressboxOnline.com. Our friend Luke Jackson, the managing editor of Pressbox, is away on vacation this week. We were due to have Mike Devereaux on, who just came off of a 3-game series in the Masson broadcast booth, but tragically, he got word yesterday, late afternoon, that his brother, 61 years old, passed away in Arizona. And Ross, I know you've been friends with Devo for a long time. And I know you spoke to him today.
I talked to him this morning, and his brother, due to the tremendous heat wave going on everywhere, I think he had an episode with the heat, and it led to his demise. And we're sorry to hear that. But he's I think his brother and sister are going out to Arizona to get what they got to get done, and then they're going to have the burial in Texas, where his mom's at and where he was. He lived.
Of course, Ross and I and our Pressbox family, we send along our best to the Devereaux family and wish them well in this just very sad time.
Right. Yeah.
Ross, not so sad, has been the Baltimore Orioles. They're on an 8-game winning streak. They're about to embark on some more tough games. They've got 3 against the Dodgers this week, Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday afternoon at Camden Yards, then 4 in Tampa. And I'm not going to go over the whole schedule, but the gauntlet is tough. The next 15, 20 games, it's a tough gauntlet. But they got through the first 3 games of that gauntlet. The Miami Marlins are by no means a cakewalk, and the Orioles handled them pretty good. Fortunately, the Marlins are not as good an offensive team as they are a pitching team.
No, I got a chance to watch some of the games down here because with the Miami channel, and got to watch a little bit. The Orioles swing the bat, and they got Bradish, Wells. The bullpen, the back end of the bullpen, the A guys, when they get a lead, forget it. And they have been so impressive. And like you said, they got another stretch of some above 500 teams. But they have played, what are they, 24 and 18 or something like that against teams over 500.
Yep.
And they just pound the teams below 500, which they're supposed to do. And
that's the formula. That's the formula to win.
I tell you what, Stan, watching them play, and they're never out of the ball games. They're always, and when they need to score some runs, they do. But they are swinging the bat. Santander's swinging the bat better than I've ever seen them.
Yeah,
and the rest of the guys, they just step up and do their thing. And they're a very exciting team to watch. They play defense well. They run the bases well. They pitch, good enough, and sometimes just really outstanding. That front end of the rotation, but they are. I wouldn't be surprised to see them win the division. They are. I think they're that good.
I think they are. I think they're quite possibly. We don't know what trades other teams will make and how much better they'll get. I think right now they're a very dangerous World Series, a team that can make the World Series. And how they do that, though, to me, the lineup and the position players are pretty set. I don't look for them to be out trading for hitters or anything like that, because they got hitters galore in the system. The pitching and how you skin that cat to get better at pitching. And Ross, I wrote a piece last week and I asked you your opinion, and I think you differed from mine. My opinion was it was time to bring Grayson back up, but put him in the bullpen as sort of the long man, because that's the way the old Oriole teams did it. You seem to be of the opinion that Mike Elias must share, is like, let's bring him up and put him in the rotation, and Cole Irvin slots into maybe being the long man for right now.
I think that's probably the safest bet. We talked about this earlier on the phone today about Matt Cain, Tim Lincecum, even Madison Bumgarner. These guys spent time in the minor leagues. I know Cain pitched over 300 innings before he went to the big leagues. and his command, he was a a hard thrower, big breaking ball, but he got a lot of deep counts, and is very similar to Rodriguez.
Okay,
and very similar to what he's going through. And then he gets to the big leagues, and he's got the stuff. The stuff is not a problem. It's just throwing consistent strikes, locating the ball, and he hasn't really done that. Then you look at the numbers in the minor leagues, and obviously, a lot of times the guys, they're just overpower guys in the minor leagues, but you got to look at how he pitches and what he does and going to the major leagues. Going to the bullpen, like you said, he's not going to be a bullpen guy as of now. They see him as a starter, and I think they're going to give him that opportunity to see. But like you said, in the years ago, they used to bring guys up and pitch them, as long men and what have you. But this is a guy that projects to be a top of the rotation starter, so they want him to start and learn how to be a starter. Now he can go to the bullpen if that's the case and make the necessary changes if there is any. But he has to throw strikes and locate the ball. He has the stuff. Got to be aggressive. Got to locate the pitches, especially when he gets ahead. And that's something that he didn't do with any consistency when he was there.
Ross, does he have a repertoire from what you've seen of him? Does he have the repertoire that getting through the lineup 3 times shouldn't be that big a problem for him?
He has the tools. He has the pitches. It's just a matter of command and locating and being able to mix them up and throw quality pitches and basically throw strikes and throw balls that look like strikes when you get ahead. And every pitch, he's a guy that, and again, we talked about this before. Some guys can only concentrate for 3-4 innings. Those are the guys you end up putting in the bullpen. But your starter, every pitch you throw, you got to have a purpose behind it. And that's something that you learn, and hopefully you'll learn that, quickly in the big leagues, but it's something you got to learn in the minor leagues. But you have to throw consistent pitches, strikes, and know how to set guys up and do all the little things. You'll learn that, but he just I think he tried to do more than he needed to do. Yeah. It put him behind in counts. He walked guys. He had to throw too good of pitches. And then when he did get hit, then he tried to make better pitches, and now he walks guys. Yeah. But it's a learning thing. But unfortunately, this team's got a chance of winning, and learning kind of goes, No,
if this were 2 years ago, they would have let him stay at the major league level and take his lumps.
Exactly.
But it wasn't. They were trying to win this year. Yeah. Along those lines of trying to win and thread the needle or skin the cat, Mike Elias, if you were him, you've seen this team enough. I know you don't see him on a nightly basis every night, but you've seen enough of them. Is their bullpen from the 5th inning to the 8th inning, is it good enough to really contend to win a World Series?
Yeah,
I'm talking about Bauman,
right?
Aiken, Vespi, who am I leaving out? Brian Baker. It's got to be better than that, doesn't it, Scott?
Now, it's one of the things that happens is if you have guys that you put in the game when you're ahead, and you got your Cano, your Batista, Bauman's another guy that can. You need more consistency from your B pitchers, basically.
That's what I.
And you saw that last night. You saw the situation last night. You had a lead, and next thing you know, it's 5-4. But that has to improve. And does that improve with the players you got, or do you have to? Should you go out and get some people for that? Because you want your guys, that can get you to your horses, and then sometimes those guys have to be the horses that day because you can't use the guys. You can't pitch them every day. And I see stuff on social media.
Yeah, why didn't they bring in Cano?
You can't pitch them every day. You'll kill them. Right. People just don't understand that, But they have to have a break, or they're going to end up getting hurt. They're going to be ineffective. Like we kind of saw last year because they use them so much. The starters got to give you more innings too.
Yeah. Ross, help me with one other thing that's going on in baseball. The Houston Astros last year, pretty damn good team. They had Framber Valdez, Christian Javier, and Jose Urquidy, Luis Garcia, and Verlander. Verlander's gone. Garcia's been hurt the whole year. Urquidy's been hurt the whole year. But my point is really about last year. Their starting pitching looked pretty damn good. But at the end of the day, when you get deep in the postseason, partly by fatigue and partly by the pressure of the games, these starters in late in the postseason, World Series, they're going 4 and 5 innings. It's
Right.
whether you got 5 or 6 or 7 bullpen arms, which was the difference last year for the Astros, is that they had 7 or even 8 guys out of the bullpen. That's where I think the Orioles, that scares me going into a postseason.
Right. 7 games, especially.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. But yeah, no, you saw that. And the Astros are looking for pitching, just like mostly everybody else that's in contention are looking for pitching, and starters, relievers. It's going to be interesting how the Orioles go. I mean, I see bullpen, because I think the starters can.
I think they're good. I think they're good enough in this
Right.
day and age. I think they're good
I
enough.
mean, if you can in a 3-game series, or a three or 5, I mean, 5 games, that could be, they could be really. But you go farther, I think you need a stronger bullpen, more consistent guys. You need more than just 2 or 3 guys out there to get you, or they're going to have to score a ton of runs. And I just don't think that, we haven't seen that over the years, where the team that outslugs the other one, you got to have pitching. Now, if the starters could give you 6 or 7 innings, that's a completely different story now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we haven't seen that. We haven't seen that really anywhere over the last several years.
We're talking the Baltimore Orioles, and Ross and I are both, I would say, would you agree, we're making the assumption that this is on July 17th, this is a playoff team. So we're working toward the assumption of how do you take a good playoff team that easily can win this division now, Luke,
Right.
Ross.
Yeah.
But how do you make them really dangerous? And I think we're saying the same thing. If we had if we had $1 to put on the Orioles, we'd put 97 cents on improving that bullpen, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I think so. I think everything else is there. I don't think these guys know that they're in the major leagues.
Right,
The players, they're major league players, and they got the 2nd or 3rd best record in baseball, and they have been consistent all year. Where some of these teams have hit the skids a little bit. Texas, even Tampa, and Tampa's got some injuries. Texas, I think, has some. I can't believe I watched the Mets play the other day. That was awful.
Sad story.
It was embarrassing. I couldn't believe that. San Diego, how they lose, it's amazing.
Those 2 teams ought to make a trade right now. They ought
Yes.
to trade Buck Showalter for Bob Melvin, because we know both of them are good.
I feel bad for both those guys.
I feel terrible.
I mean, it's a tough situation. I mean,
Yeah.
The Mets have trouble catching fly balls. That was. I mean, in this day and age where there's less time spent on the field and more time spent on the computer or whatever, I understand it. But God, it is sad to watch that kind of stuff. It's embarrassing.
An eye-opening series, by the way, between the Cincinnati Reds and the Milwaukee Brewers. The Reds had been playing great for about 5 or 6 weeks. They went head-to-head over the weekend. Milwaukee shut them out.
Right.
All 3 games.
Yes.
And I heard some broadcaster saying that somebody he knew in Cincinnati watches every Reds game, said they swung at more balls out of the strike zone. So that must be the scouting report. Is
There you go. Yeah.
feed that aggressiveness of the Cincinnati Reds.
I tell you, once they see a weakness, at the major league level, they exploit it, and you got to make an adjustment. They'll make one, you got to make another one, and if you don't do that, that's what happens.
Yeah. Well, we see it in Baltimore. with Ryan Mountcastle. And to his credit, manager Brandon Hyde did, I think, what every fan wanted to see was when he got back up here. It's not severely decreasing O'Hearn's appearances in the games. I mean, O'Hearn has really kind of, whether he lasts for another 6 or 8 weeks, I don't know, but he's earned the opportunity to keep playing against at least the right-handers, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Have you seen enough of Westberg or Cowser yet to digest what type of ball players they are? One of the things that's impressed me so much is Cowser has already played all 3 outfield positions, and Westberg has played second and third. And he reminds me of the great Oriole infielders of long ago, like a little bit of Bobby Grich, a little bit of Dower. Thoughts?
No, that's I haven't seen a lot of them, but what I have seen and read and heard, that's what that's going to be their job. They're going to be guys that can, I don't know if they're starters. They could be, platoon type guys, or they can play anywhere. And that seems to be the thing that a lot of clubs are looking for, guys that can play multiple positions. And good gosh, if he could catch, that would make it even better. They'll end up trying to do that. They did that with Chopin. Tom Chopin, they try to make him a catcher and make him more valuable. But if you can catch and play all the positions, that's really something. But it saves them a roster spot for another guy,
Hey, let me take a time out now. We're brought to you by AJ Michaels, Heating, Plumbing, and Air Conditioning. And we're also brought to you by our all-the-time sponsor, the Costas Inn. They're located over at 4100 North Point Boulevard. Ross promises me that when he and Bird get in, we're going there to the Costas Inn to grab some crabs. It's crab season. It's wild right now. Everybody wants them, and you know how to get them. Costas Inn has got a great supply of crabs, but the idea that you're just going to drive out to the Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard and say, hey, give us 24 crabs, that might not happen. So call ahead and reserve your crabs. They keep a close eye on what the inventories are like by talking to the suppliers in Texas and Louisiana. And they're trying their best to always fit the supply to the demand right now. And besides, maybe you're taking a party, 8 people out, and 4 of them want to eat crabs and 4 of them want to eat something else. They can handle that because they do great jobs with all kinds of steaks, all kinds of chicken dishes, all kinds of seafood, and all kinds of beef with steaks right on the top of the menu. And the Costas Inn, it's just a great family restaurant, 4100 North Point Boulevard. But call that number, 410-477-1975 to reserve your crabs. All right.
Never been disappointed out there.
Hey, when you first got to Baltimore, had you had crabs years ago, in 1974?
Never.
Did Boog teach you how to eat crabs?
I forget who I went. Me and Bird went over to what was the crab on Bel Air Road?
Terrace Inn, Bill's Terrace Inn.
No, we didn't go there. It was another place. Chuck Thompson used to go there all the time.
All right. I'm not sure of it.
I can't think of the name of it, but Bird goes in a silk green jumpsuit. What a mistake that was. But that was our first time, and we had a blast. It was, and we've been crab lovers ever since.
Was she able to save the clothes? Was she able to clean them? Or
she might still have them. I don't know. It was.
Have you eaten crabs with Boog?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, there's he'll eat till I run out of them.
Yeah. He taught my wife. He taught Jane how to really pick crabs because
what's crazy. Everybody has their own way of doing it.
Yep.
And that's also the fun of it. But we went over to Bill's Terrace. I've been over a few times, and that's I think we went over with a big group and we had a blast over there.
Yeah.
But I can't think of anywhere. I rarely get bad crabs.
Yeah. No, it's hard to get bad crabs. Sometimes you get off sizes. But, when you deal with the same people like I am with the Costas,
Yeah,
you know that they're gonna, if they tell you it's an extra large, it's an extra
Right.
large, you know.
right.
Anyway, getting back to the Orioles right now, they face this Dodger team. Now we've got Wells, Kramer, and we got Rodriguez,
Rodriguez, yeah.
Wells, and Kramer starting the 3 games. The Dodgers have not one of their top starters is in position to start right now. We're getting Bobby Miller, we're getting Michael Grove, and I think that tonight it's Emmett Sheehan.
Sheehan, yeah.
Sheehan is the starting pitcher. Are we lucky not getting? Actually, we're getting Urias, Julio Urias on the 3rd game, I think.
And he just got off the DL.
He just got off the
IL,
DL.
whatever you want to call it.
He got knocked around the first time, then came back the second time and threw like 5 or 6 shutout.
Yeah.
innings.
No, that's a good thing for the O's. Things are just falling into place. Anytime you look at it, it wouldn't surprise me that the O's they win 2 out of 3 here, or or maybe he was sweep. Who knows? They're on a roll, winning 8 in a row. So,
Well,
nothing surprises me, Stan. Nothing.
the crowds were pretty terrific. And it's interesting. I mentioned this to you, Ross, right before our show today, that Boston, the city of Boston, and the Red Sox have worked up on a $1.6 billion deal. Now, keep in mind, the Orioles are trying to do this with the state. The Red Sox did it with the city of Boston. It includes, like, what was it? 20 new homes, 200 office spaces, retail, couple hundred retail locations, new space around Fenway Park. They're buying up a lot of properties. The Orioles deal, I think if John Angelos and Governor get their way, I think you're talking about probably a $3 to $4 billion deal. Public and private to take that area in the west downtown Hippodrome to the ballpark and really turn it into a zone.
Didn't somebody buy not the inner harbor, but the mall type area around there?
I'm not sure.
I saw that, I think, the other day, somebody to redo it.
Yeah.
So
but that's the trend of ballparks today.
The Giants did in San Francisco, bought all kinds of land around their stadium and own apartments and buildings and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, and they're doing the same thing with racetracks around the country, and that's what's so tricky about saving Pimlico, because Pimlico isn't in the type of neighborhood that has usually been the type that gets this type of resuscitation.
Well, that's the same with Boston. That area around the park was never really a great spot. So they're obviously.
But the Red Sox have turned it into it.
Yes.
Over the last 25, 30 years.
Right.
It's pretty amazing what baseball can do for a community. Ross, you got a surprise team or two that you got your eyes on right now?
The Braves are just fantastic.
Yeah.
That's and looking at
but the Phillies have gotten sizzling red hot now.
They got the Red Sox as well.
Yeah. Red Sox have had the best record in baseball in July.
Yeah. The O's, Toronto, and Boston are won 8 of the last 10 games. The Yankees are They won 4 of the last 10.
They smell like a last place team right now.
They are. They're tied with Boston. Every team in the AL West has 50 wins.
Yeah.
So that's saying something about that. But the Yankees, I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're going to trade many people. If they do,
you meant the AL East, right?
East, yes, yeah, okay. AL East, yeah.
Okay.
Boston is a team that they've been playing really well, and that's interesting. That's a team that I haven't. The Phillies, I hadn't watched them enough, but I would see the Red Sox, and they're very interesting. If they get pitching, much like everybody else, that's could be interesting. But
Dodgers, they smell like they're gonna go all in on a big trade.
Oh yeah,
somewhere.
Yeah, Toronto. Be interesting with Toronto as well. They're playing very good,
excellent baseball right now. Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Ross, you and I will be back at it, and we hope to have our partner Luke Jackson next Monday. I'm going to head out to the ballpark tonight, so you take her easy, and my best to Bird, okay?
Will do, buddy.
All right. For Ross Grimsley, I'm Stan the Fan Charles. I'll be back Thursday night. We are scheduled to have on the other partner in the podcast, The Odds Makers by Superbook.com. That's John Murray's due to join us at 7:00 Thursday. Again, the Orioles tonight at 7:05, tomorrow, Tuesday night at 7:05, and Wednesday at 1:05 before they go to Tampa for 4 games. All right. For Ross Grimsley, I'm Stan the Fan, and we thank AJ Michaels Heating, Plumbing, and Air Conditioning, and we thank our friends at the Costas Inn as always. See you later. Bye.